Ladies and gentlemen, what you're about to see will shake your faith in our electoral system to its core if it hasn't been shaken already. Imagine a voting machine, the very backbone of our republic, hacked in mere seconds with nothing more than a USB stick. This is not science fiction. It's happening right now, live on a podcast for all to see. Patrick Bet-David presented it to the world today, and the implications are staggering. If this doesn't wake you up to the urgent need for election integrity, I don't know what will. So buckle up, because this revelation is about to change everything. Now check this out. Are you listening? Just as we've seen voting machines hacked in seconds, your daily commute can be compromised in an instant. But there is a solution. Dash cams. Like election integrity measures, dash cams provide irrefutable evidence, making drivers 60% less likely to be found at fault in accidents. Don't let your road safety be as vulnerable as our voting systems. Visit carvisionx.com for a state-of-the-art dash cam with 4K Ultra HD night vision, 24/7 motion detection. Get free express shipping and bonuses with every order. Protect yourself on the road, because in today's world, video proof is everything. So, let's jump into it. Now, when I saw this video posted on X today, personally, I wasn't shocked. I've seen this done before, and I'm going to present to you some other examples. But it's important that it was presented yet again. Because while I may understand, I may have prior knowledge of voting machines getting hacked, there's an entire generation of Americans that weren't around when Hacking Democracy was broadcast on HBO in 2006. Okay? Like, we saw when those voting machines were hacked a long time ago. But now it's been presented again in recent history. 24 hours ago. Patrick Bet-David. A voting machine hacked in seconds with a USB stick. This should send chills down every American spine. Election integrity is at stake, and we need action now to ditch these machines and secure our votes. Here is Patrick Bet-David with the man and the machine. And if you want to watch the full podcast with Harri Hursti and watch the full thing, you can go to PBD Podcast on YouTube. I love that podcast. Personally, it's a great podcast. So anyway, let's watch this. This is about, let's see, we have is there a 2-minute clip? I thought there was a 5-minute clip. Maybe it's just 2 minutes. Okay, let's play here's the 5-minute. Let's watch this. It was 5 minutes. Sorry, my bad. Okay, here we go. Brian, go full screen. Give people a full experience. Let's watch.
Win vote machine. And for the reasons that we don't want to put a logo, this voting system technology company name is just a fake name, because I have been using this particular machine in filming a number of training videos, some of those for the government, just to show vulnerabilities like USB vulnerability, which we are going to be using. This machine actually had many vulnerabilities, and at the time when this was still in use, this was called the worst voting machine used in the United States. The worst voting machine used in the United States.
And where was this used, Harry?
That was used in Maryland. It was in Virginia. I don't have the complete list what all places it was used, but it was fairly widely used. So what we are going to be exploiting here is a USB vulnerability. The USB vulnerability is amazingly good to identify because it's easy to mitigate. Mm-hmm. You just stopped access to the USB port. I have plugged here a extension cable, just that we can see that the actual USB port is behind there, and it's accessible by the voter. I'm using here a commercially available USB computer called Bash Bunny. It can be many other devices. This is just an example. This particular device is $120. You can buy it from online. And I have pre-programmed it, and if this would be a real attack, the attack will take 6-7 seconds. I have slowed it down and make it visible so that the audience can see what is happening. So when I'm plugging it in, this is the Schrodinger's USB stick is always wrong way. So the computer starts, and once it's started, it's doing its magic. The moment you see that the screen is changing, that is when the hack would have been already done and I would be unplugging it. But I'm just showing this number of things. So now it would have been done. It's showing you the program manager. It's showing you now the command prompt. And this is where all the votes live. So I'm just showing that the directory where all the votes would be. At this point of time, this stick has already complete control over the system. So at this time, anything can be done, anything can be changed. And as the last thing, I'm just showing a fake results, just to show that can be done. It's just to show that how the system is controlled. So this is a good example of a hack. And as I said, only reason why anything is seen on the screen and why it's this slow is because I artificially slowed it down and made it visible so that the audience can see that there's a control over the voting machine. This particular machine has many other vulnerabilities, way worse than this one. So that's why it's very good that this machine is no longer in use in the US. And this is also showing how demonstrating the vulnerabilities work, because that causes changes. And, for example, removal of this machine from being used in the US.
So now, what is it doing right now, Harri?
Nothing. It's already, the whole hack was done. But if this would have been an election, I could have gone to the database and, for example, changed the votes. That's one possibility.
How much of it could you have changed?
Anything.
You could have gone from 51 to 73.
Add a new candidate who was not even on the ballot. It doesn't matter. Because if you have total control over the system,
right,
you can do anything you want. As I say, one example was that we add a new candidate and make that candidate to win. It would be obvious if
the president of DEF CON is the one who won, George Washington. That's the one you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got what you're saying. So is this like to the average hacker? Is this machine a joke on how easy it is?
It is a joke.
And how many years ago was it used?
I think this was last time used in 2012.
God, 12 years ago.
And also, just an example, that when this was brought first time to DEF CON, we had a professor from Denmark. And in less than half an hour, he hacked into this machine wirelessly. He didn't even touch the machine. He took complete control over this machine wirelessly, because this voting machine happens to have a wireless Wi-Fi access.
So, okay, so is it fair for one to speculate and question that any of the electronic voting machines we've used previously, possibility that could have been hacked, possibility that the winners were flipped because somebody got into it?
So again, the fundamental problem with this voting machine is it doesn't have a paper ballot. So if somebody hacked this kind of machine and would have manipulated it, there is no evidence. That's why we need paper ballots, and especially we need hand-marked paper ballots, because if the results are called into question, now you can go and hand count those ballots and verify that the outcome of the election is right.
You know what else would combat the election fraud? You know how they do in the Middle East? They make you put your thumbprint on the ballot. That's how they do it there. Oh, yes. Mike Flynn saying our election system is vulnerable to nefarious actors. We must get rid of the machines. Total BS. We continue using them. That was on the Patrick Bet David podcast, what you just saw. Now let's take a trip down memory lane. This is CNN. CNN. 7 years ago. Let's see if we can get this.
Well, we're loving this one, but most people probably wouldn't.
A room full of hackers, all trying to hack into voting machines.
You can possibly make it accept a fake card or accept any card, so you could add your own votes.
These are supposed to be the latest machines. They're still used in elections, and they're running ancient software. I think that, if somebody wanted to, it would be pretty easy to fake an election.
Less than a couple hours with access, and they're already figuring out ways to break in and play pranks. But it gets more serious.
So you could leave the security key into it and still inject.
I feel like I'm the only one here that hasn't found a vulnerability. It's not what you think. They've all been invited here to demonstrate just how vulnerable the tech we rely on for our elections can be. The experiment is the brainchild of Jake Braun. He's a former security advisor for the Obama administration.
You know, with everything that happened in 16, what we're trying to do is get this industry to mature from a cybersecurity perspective, so you don't have folks saying what they are now, which is things like machines are unhackable or databases are air-gapped and can't be changed.
It's not clear if any actual machines were infiltrated in the 2016 election, and no one has suggested any physical votes were changed. But intelligence officials agreed that Russia was able to meddle with other election-related systems.
Okay,
This
sure.
inspired Braun and
That's
the
CNN.
organizers of this year's DEF CON hacking conference to
Enough
collect
of
over...
CNN. Okay, so you get the point, though. CNN was broadcasting that machines can be hacked. This is not old news, but it needs to be front and center as we move into this election right now, because these machines can be hacked. And as we have, what is it, 20 million newcomers in this country now, and they're all being registered to vote through different means. They're giving these newcomers driver's licenses. And as you register for your driver's license, would you like to register to vote too? Check the box. No question if they're actually allowed to be in this country, if they're an actual citizen or not. This is very, very dangerous. So there are so many ways that this election can be stolen. We are weeks away from this election. And my hat's off to Patrick Bet-David for raising this issue.
There is no evidence. That's why we need paper ballots, and especially we need hand-marked paper ballots. Because if the results are called into question, now you can go and hand count those ballots and verify that the outcome of the election is right.
That's, of course, if they even let you view the hand count. Terrifying technology is right there in front of all of America to see. So there you have it, folks. Irrefutable proof that our voting systems are about as secure as a screen door on a submarine. But here's what I want to know from you. What do you think that this means for the integrity of our past and future elections? Are paper ballots the answer? Or is there a technological solution we haven't considered yet, blockchain technology? Or should we just have people just drop their finger in some ink and put their fingerprint on the ballot as well? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Remember, your voice matters both in the chat and at the ballot box. So stay vigilant, Patriots.